Very good evening, you all. My name is Mahesh Veeratunga. I'm from Chartered Institute of Personal Management. So first, I will not be giving you much of an introduction about myself because we are running short of time. We have only 1 hour to discuss the subject what we are going to discuss today. So first, I would like to thank Chartered Institute of Personal Management, the corporate training department, especially for taking initiatives to being visible, first of all, during this pandemic condition, which is highly needed in branding. And also going beyond from conventional HR learning, considering most wanted business subject, also a unique step of CIPM what I need to mention today. So that I would like to thank once again, especially the corporate training department CIPM for taking initiatives to discuss one of the needed subject in today's business context. So moving forward without, we have only 1 hour session and we can have 15 minutes to share our ideas further. If you all have any questions, you all can fire whatever the questions related to the session what we will be discussing so far. But unfortunately, we will not be able to have an interactive session due to certain limitation of the timing and the technological limitations also comes into this. So in that case, we'll start one by one. So moving on, we'll be discussing the today's chapter, branding in a crisis. Branding in a crisis. So I'll be repeating the subject, the branding in a crisis. A very much useful subject since we see so many brands have gone completely blind, completely blank during this period. So that was one of the reason CIPM has taken initiatives to come up with this type of topic to give you all how important to manage your branding strategy, especially during a crisis period like this. So we will be discussing throughout that and I heard many brand managers and many brand directors also in the audience. So hope you all will give good, basically your views. If you all can text, if you all can basically send your questions at the end of the session through the chat box, so we can discuss them as well. And also not only the questions, if you all have certain experiences where you would like to share with the audience, though you are not visible each other, you all can will be able to facilitate for them as well. So we'll have that part in the question and answering session. So without any issue in the usual scenario. So that there are certain challenges you are facing in the waves are basically coming aggressively towards you, but strategically you are managing whatever the resources you all have, whatever the capacities, the competencies you all have, you all take the brands forward and the business forward. But there can be situation where the waves are basically hitting the entire organization, the entire environment, entire business sector, and entire we have to take serious action. Where we have to take serious action to protect our brand conditions. So moving forward, the condition may not be so calm and quiet. All the condition may be challenging. So the condition what we are facing right now, the pandemic condition, the COVID pandemic condition, so challenging for businesses. So we need to take the maximum out of whatever the resource challenges positively and move forward, because there will be a good time for us to enjoy. So I mean, we can't let our brands to die like this. So I mean, we need to protect all these brands. All the telecommunication service providers are struggling to give the maximum support because they are at the full capacity right now. So there can be here and there the technical difficulties coming up, but be mindful. We'll take the maximum out of the situation so we can we will be able to move forward with those things. So let's move forward. That is perfectly okay. The technical difficulties should not be a crisis for this session. So we'll move forward slowly. So we cannot wait till the last moment to throw our life buoy, because it will be one of the dangerous condition if we simply wait till the last moment to throw our life buoy, because we will not be able to get the maximum out of whatever we do during this condition, because we need to look after our brand. So our mindful approach, our strategic approach should be basically very strong to take our brand further to the future with this condition. So let's look at whatever the areas I mean we can discuss in coming slides. So throughout this 1 hour session, I'll be taking you all through let's say the area of brand and the branding in business. So y'all need to identify the difference between the brand and the branding in this condition, and also you got to identify the major dimensions in branding, uh, which is one of the crucial area which most of the brand managers, maybe sometimes the creative designers, maybe sometimes do neglect in most of the cases, the major dimensions of branding, where we need to focus ourselves in our brand strategy development. And at the same time, we need to look at the two different branding. If we really look at the continuum of the branding, so how product brand basically works against the corporate branding, so that area also we'll be looking at in coming slides. So, and at the same time, analyzing the direction of the crisis and its impact. Analyzing the direction of crisis and its impact in it's one of the major area, because we need to have a clear idea about the direction of this crisis. Then only we can take our strategies forward to get the maximum out of whatever the crisis with our strategy is, and the techniques what we implement. So that area we'll be discussing. And in addition to that, how you got to maintain the corporate reputation during the crisis, one of the significant area, because moving from the product branding, how we basically look into corporate branding also we need to look at. So that area also will be considering. Then identity and the image building during the crisis, so where we need to give high priority in our brand management during this situation, in this scenario. And a new approach of branding, the VCP approach in branding, visibility, credibility, and the profitability approach in branding, will be discussing at the latter part of this, because how your visibility is building your credibility during the crisis, which help you to come up in the profitable future during the good time of the condition. which means the post-crisis condition. So then latter part we'll be just discussing about the brand communication perspectives, what you can look at when it comes for the crisis situation, because sometimes you will not be able to go in the fully fledged branding communication in this type of scenario. So in that case, what are the branding avenues you can take with this uh, basically we'll be basically discussing during this time. So these are the areas what we'll be discussing.